Good afternoon on what is a bright, cool but changeable day. We've got a nice cup of tea. And a big parcel to continue going through. So I've already opened this one and pulled out, amongst other things, the classic Pocket Box Games bundle, published in 2017 by Steve Jackson Games, and it contains this list of games. So we have Undead, Necromancer, Raid on Iran, One Page Bulge, Kung Fu 2100, Awful Green Things, and then the Kung Fu 2100, Necromancer and Raid on Iran pocket folders, which would have been funded by Kickstarter for this project, which I did not contribute towards. But let's get this open, and it opens up. It doesn't. So we've got. So my first comment goes. You've got here. This is, and it doesn't open up at the bottom where you think it would. It opens up at the top. So it opens up like that. That's a bit weird. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to pull out from here is Raid on Iran. It says on the back, a classic returns. This reproduction was created from the best copy of the original that we could find. Every component was painstakingly scanned, touched up and reproduced in a form as near identical to the original game as we could imagine. Includes retro style rules, map and counter sheet, as well as a second sheet of die cut counters. So this is okay, let's crack this open. Let's find out what's in here. Get the knife out and slice it through the plastic. Now, this actually comes in a little plastic cardboard box of its own. So I can find, okay, and a bit like. Where does this open? Making this. I'm gonna have to get the knife on this. So it doesn't want to open easily, and I don't want to do any damage to it all. Myself can see. There we go. So what we've got here, it says, you can see that it says Pocket Box Game. So it comes in a little pocket box. You need a little bit bigger pocket, but you know the idea. And originally this game would have come in, I've got in a version that would have been a Ziploc bag, and it would have actually come in a clamshell case as well at one point. And so we open up, and we've obviously got two six-sided dice, including the eye and the pyramid on one of those, which of course famously is the symbol for the Steve Jackson Games. So it says, published originally in 1980, Raid on Iran is a military simulation or war game. It is an attempt to represent what might have happened excuse me, if the US raid on April 25th, 1980, intended to free the hostages, had actually gone in. As an alternate scenario, highly speculative, looks at the possibility that a combined team might have tried to kidnap the Ayatollah himself in order to sabotage the sort of exchange with hostages. So this is back in 1980. Got to remember, different times. And Ronald Reagan would have just taken office as President of the United States, and importantly, you had a revolution in Iran, which had overthrown the Shah, kicked him out, and installed a Muslim republic under the Ayatollah that was very anti-America, to the point where its Revolutionary Guard stormed the American embassy and took hostages, which is not something you actually, which is not usually, okay, it's not accepted behaviour amongst nations. You have to be quite a radical nation to, or have radical attitudes to want to do that, or radical causes. And the hostages were eventually released after some negotiation. Reagan took the credit for that, of course. Although Carter was much in prison, President Carter was much involved in that. But what the Americans did do, they did launch an attempt to rescue them, but it failed through technicalities and the weather and so on, and didn't get very far. So what we've got here is the rule book, and it's a sort of size rule book. I remember, quite small but compact, explaining everything. Lots of text in there. You know, it looks and reads like a war game of the period, not quite so the technical sort of like organisation you would have in an SBI game, or something like Avalon Hill's Squad Leader, but everything's neatly organised, numbered, formatted. Very few illustrations in here, just a simple rule book. So those are the full rules, and then we've got what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. We have the alternative scenario for Raid and Iran. Possibly occasionally discussed, though not by government spokesmen, was the idea that American commandos might have attempted to kidnap the Ayatollah Khomeini himself in order to exchange for the hostages. Unlikely, of course. Abductions of a foreign leader, no matter what the provocation, would damage America's image greatly. If any Iranians were killed defending him, they would have been seen as martyrs, and if we'd taken the Ayatollah, there would have been no one left in Iran with the authority to make a trade. Even so, there's a certain poetic justice to the idea. And I think that's what it really kind of plays off, rather than it's something that the Americans would have done. And the illustrations on the back of him actually being captured and held hostage. So what's in the game itself? So we've got the rules, and there's not a great deal to them, but you have a fold-out map on a piece of paper. So there we go. And this depicts, you've got the various buildings in the compound. You know, points where helicopters can land, such as there, and the main building is there, and so on. And on the back, you have details about this game, and its historical notes, charts and tables, and so on. To be honest, my first grumble was what about putting the charts and the tables to the game on the back of the play area is a little foolish. Anyway, so you've got historical details such as the rescue plan, the commandos, infiltrators, the helicopters, and the embassy compound, all that kind of background, essentially ending here with the return of the hostages and actually what happened. And of course, a couple of things you can do. You can go and read the entry for the hostage situation, of course, on Wikipedia or somewhere like that. And of course, the planned raid will have its own page as well, and that would provide all sort of like decent historical context for what it'd been like. And if you want to kind of flavour and feel for what it would like, watch the film Argo, because that's a similar situation, whereas actually that's Canadians being tried to get out of the embassy. It kind of worked. So what else have you got? You have 2 sheets of die-cut counters. Now these are a lot easier. These just basically slot out as you would expect. So there's those, and then the original counters in the bottom there. And you would have essentially taken the scissors to these, because essentially this would have been, all of this would have slipped into the Ziploc bag. Little Ziploc bag, which would have been no bigger than this in size, and sat there easily in storage on sort of like hanging on the sort of like the turner there in your gaming shop. And then there's a note here on the this plastic box. This plastic pocket box we mostly think is the best new idea for game package in the year. Certainly, it's better than the average flimsy cardboard box or plastic bag. And yeah, that's nice and sturdy. Although you can get some really quite sturdy little boxes, cardboard boxes as well. And then in the bottom, you do actually have the charts and tables to the game. And you've got things on there like ranged combat, 1 die, and all the modifications. So you're going to have referring to that quite often. And on the back, entry by stealth, close attacks, and chances of Iranian reinforcements. So yeah. Now obviously this is a historical war game, and I think this is going to appeal to a certain groups, I suppose, who really would have been of an age at the time when this was actually occurring, or they remembered the game coming out shortly afterwards. More modern audience, I don't know, a younger audience, unless they're seriously into war games and gaming history, this may be a little bit obscure for them. But this is actually really quite a nice little reproduction of the original game. So I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here, actually with a box from which I will extract, well, in this case, another box of games, and then extract a single game to talk about and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. All, of course, accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit the subscribe button down below. Now, I will finally say that this game is a game I've never played. I look forward to looking at it. And I remember being about and being sort of reviewed and so on, and being available, but never got it first time around. So I'm going to be interested to do a proper review of this in the near future. In the meantime, thanks again for watching another unboxing in the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.